This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Flagstaff E-Pro model E19FD. Okay, so here I am on the door side of the trailer, and as you can see, you have a power awning. Okay, outside speaker. Now, this compartment here is basically this is your water filter canister here. Now you can put the filter in, which is right, let me get it, right there. Plus this here is the wrench to do that. If you choose to use the filter, you can only use it for one season. So basically you would throw it out right before you winterize it, and then after you de-winterize it, you'd put one in for the entire season, and just every year change it out like that. Okay. Your water heater works on both gas and electric. One thing to remember, although the switches are inside, this switch down here, you see it's off right now, but you can turn it on and off obviously. That controls the electric heating element that's behind this cover here. So keep that in mind, that there's this, when it comes to operating the electric heating feature, water heating feature, you need to flip that switch to the on position. Right now this is drained. There's where the drain plug goes, and this is it right here. It's an anode rod with a plug on the end. So this is the reason the plug is out, because this is winterized. It has antifreeze in it for the winter. Your steps fold right into the trailer. Okay, this is just in case you want to use a solar battery charger. You can plug it in right there. So you have a power tongue jack. Okay, it has a hitch light on it, of course. Now, if you were to take this section off of here, I know we're very close while we're filming this, so it's a little difficult, but I'll go as slow as I can and back up when I can. Okay, so if you pull this piece out, let's say this power tongue jack was to fail, right? Well, you could use a 3/4 inch socket or the 3/4 inch crank, the same one that's used with the stabilizer jacks, and you could put it on there and crank this manually if you had to. This is your bike rack. Now, half of these supports are going to be turned the other way, so there'll be two on each side of each section, so they just ship it like that. So basically what it comes down to is you carry two bikes on this, one on this side and then one on the other side. So you have two bikes up there. Okay, so you have a outside shower with hot and cold water. This is a vent for your range hood that's over your stove. If you need to vent, you always push up and free up these baffles here, or that baffle there. You do that so it'll flap freely if you're venting to the outside. If you're not venting, then just leave it shut. Okay, so this here, so you know, this is how you would fill your fresh water tank. Let's say the campground that you're at doesn't have city water. So you would pre-fill your tank right here and use the onboard water pump to pump water. Now, if I come back here, this is the docking station here. Your city water connection is right here, so you're just gonna, 9 times out of 10, you'll just hook the hose on there, turn it on, you're all set and ready to go. Now, if you, like I said, if you're going to use the onboard water feature, if you don't have plumbing at the campsite, you can fill your onboard water tank on the off-door side, like I just showed you. This is for winterizing, right? You'll basically make up a hose, it's a regular garden hose type fittings, and make it long enough to reach the ground, so therefore you can put it into a gallon of antifreeze and use the water pump in the trailer to pump the antifreeze through the system when you winterize it. Now you have to change one valve that's behind here. You'll have to change the position of the valve, because right now it's set up to draw from the fresh water tank if you turn on the pump, but you'd have to switch it so it draws through this port. So keep that in mind. You have to switch that, and then you also have to bypass the water heater. So you have to keep that in mind. If you don't know about winterizing, you'll have to educate yourself, or else have it done, of course. Also, this one here is your black tank flush. So your black tank, which is toilet water and waste, if you hook the hose on here and open up the valve, you can spray the inside of the tank out and clean off the sensors and just clean it up. Cable and satellite through, those are just coax. Let me come over here to show you the dump valves. Alright, so you can see you have the black one right here. Black is for toilet water and waste. And then this one up here is the gray, sink and shower water. So you always dump the gray first. I'm sorry, let me state it again. You always dump the black first, because it's the dirtiest of the dirty water. And then you'll dump the gray to help wash out the hose and that sort of thing. Then you can leave this valve open, like I stated before. You can hook a hose right onto here, and it will it'll flush out your tank, clean off the sensors, just get it nice and clean, okay? This is your cord here. It's a 30 amp cord, 30 feet long. Okay. You have a ladder, which is great because if you own a trailer, you have to inspect it every 90 days or so, inspect the roof. You figure 3 times a season if you live in Michigan, so you go up in the spring, once in the middle of the summer, once in the fall. You go up on the roof, you walk around, you be very careful. If you're not sure, steady enough to do it, you have somebody else do it for you, of course. You check the sealant on the roof. Every place you see sealant, you look for cracking and separation, any damage from road debris, anything that, any way water could get past the seals or the rubber membrane on the roof. So it's important to inspect that every 90 days. Okay, so let's go inside. Getting chilly here. Okay, so this is your control panel here. So we'll turn all the lights on. Okay, so this is for your power awning, so you can extend it like so, retract it. Remember, don't leave it out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in. Alright, so to turn your water pump on, if you had onboard water or you're winterizing, you would turn it on right there. To light your water heater on gas, you can do it right like that. To light it on electric, you do it like that, or start it on electric, you do it right there. Remember, there's a second switch on the water heater in the lower left-hand corner for electric. Alright, so your battery is charged, freshwater tank is empty, black tank is empty, gray tank is empty. Of course, it graduates up in 1/3 increments as it fills. So once you get past 2/3, you got to start thinking about dumping your black and gray tanks. Alrighty. So also, while I'm looking, there is an app for this, of course. So you would go to the App Store or Google Play and download it. So this couch has footrests on it also. Right, but you could also jackknife it flat just by grabbing it here. You would jackknife it flat, and then you could fold the hide-a-bed right over it. So therefore, you can reclaim your floor space during the day. You can reclaim it, and then just bring the bed down at night. So it makes a small trailer act like a much larger one. Also, I got to run back out here. I want to show you. There's one thing I didn't show you. Must have breezed right by it here. So these are your batteries. You have two 12-volt deep cycle marine batteries. They're wired together at 12 volts, so it just doubles the storage capacity. Now here, if you can see it, right in there, let me see if I can see it on the monitor. Yeah, right there, that knob, that is your kill switch for your battery. So keep that in mind. You can shut the batteries off. That way you don't have to take off a cable. If you put it into storage, you can just shut it off and disconnect it. All other times you want it on. Okay. Now this trailer, it does two things when it comes to electricity. It will convert, meaning it'll take 110 AC and turn it into 12-volt DC. That is done here at the converter. Also, it will invert. It'll take the 12 volts from the battery and it'll turn it into 110 AC. That's called inversion. That's right there. Okay, to work the inverter, you just turn it on here. You're only going to turn it on when you're using it, and only one plug in the trailer is going to be wired to it. You can't run everything in the trailer on AC. It's just not possible using batteries, or just without a whole bank of batteries anyway. Let me look to see. What was I just going? Oh yeah. This is the one, I'm sure, this is the one that's inverted right here, the plug. It's also a GFCI. All the plugs in the trailer are wired through this one, including the plug on the outside. So if you're using a coffee pot outside or whatever and it pops, you'll reset it in here. Okay. Now, I showed you the inverter was over there. This is the converter. This will take 110 AC and turn it into 12 volt DC. So you see you have it, regular household circuit breakers here. Those are 110 AC, they're labeled. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC here. You see you have regular fuses and they're labeled. So if any of the 12 volt fuses were to blow, they'll light up and you'll see them through this perforation here. So you actually see that. Also, as long as you're plugged into shore power with your power cord, this will keep your battery charged. It's actually a battery tender. It senses how much energy the battery has. If it's really low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs. If it's charged, it'll just trickle a couple. So it'll always keep it topped off, okay? While I'm here, this device next to it is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. There is a self-test button on it if you ever want to test it. Also, it should always be green like it is. If not, you get it serviced. If it goes off, obviously it's either detected carbon monoxide or LP gas. You take everybody outside, turn the tanks off at the front and figure out what's going on, okay? So, this also has solar panels. So, this is, hopefully you can see this. Right now it's 13.4 volts are what we have. Now, this is A battery and B battery. This is wired together as one battery. It's just double capacity. So you don't use A, you're just looking at B. So you push B to get, right now we're getting 1.6 amps from the sun. You can see the sun and the arrow pointing towards the solar panel. The batteries are 100%, 63 amp hours, and 13.4 volts, which is perfect. Okay, you got a booster here, you got a little USB charger here for an emergency, and right now it's saying you have a flooded battery. That's what I choose to call it, because you can select AGM, the different types of batteries. This is the battery you have is a wet battery, although it's sealed. It's sort of like semi-sealed. You could pry off the caps and add distilled water or electrolyte or whatever you needed to add to it. So I considered it flooded, so that's just what I'm calling it. That's why it says flooded at the bottom. Okay. Like I said, right now this is what's being charged into your battery. So obviously, if you move the trailer to different positions, depending on where the sun's at, you can increase that. Not that you're going to continue to remove your trailer around or anything, but this is what is being added to your battery or batteries. Okay, that's good. Your TV works like any other TV. It's got a disc player on it. Your radio, you can stream off the USB here. You can go straight into the system with this HDMI here, so you could set a game machine on the table, go straight into it and through the TV set if you wanted to. You can hook up with Bluetooth, with your phone or tablet. So there's a lot you can do with it. You got 2 speaker zones inside and outside. And AM and FM radio, of course. Then above it is your Wi-Fi Ranger. The Wi-Fi Ranger is a signal booster and router. So it's up on your roof. What happens when you go to the campground Wi-Fi? The Wi-Fi Ranger can connect to it. If you look at the sticker down here, I don't know if you can read it on this video, but you basically have this name here, 1839, and change me now 1839 is your temporary password, and the control panel number is this bottom number. So the top one, basically you would put in your phone and your tablet, so you'll hook up automatically to your Wi-Fi Ranger. To see what the Wi-Fi Ranger sees, you would go onto a browser on your phone or tablet, whatever, and you type in this address, and you'll see the page and everything that the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. You pick out the public Wi-Fi, put in a password if there's one, or just connect if not, and the Wi-Fi Ranger boosts your bandwidth a lot, and it also has got a built-in firewall. Also, there's a second feature that you'd have to talk to them about, basically, and you would go through whoever supplies your cellular service, but you can actually get a SIM card for it, I believe, and you would pay a cellular service if you wanted to. Most people just use the free Wi-Fi signal booster feature. Okay, I'm running on too much here. I have a limited amount of time before it starts another file here. So you can drop the table down and turn it into a bed, of course. Your oven, to light it, you spark it. This is the new model, so you're just going to turn it on here. I don't know if he's got the gas on right now, but we'll find out. Like, oh yeah, there, yeah, he does. So right there, just lit him. To do your oven, it's a little bit different here. Down here, all the way at the back, is a pilot light. Let me spark it so you can see it sparking in there. All right, so what you do is you come to the oven knob and you go to the pilot light, then you depress it. You keep it depressed, right? Then you push your sparker until your pilot light lights. Once it lights, you continue to hold it for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up. Then you go to operating temperature, it cycles on and off. But the thing is, once you turn it off, the flame goes out, of course, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time. Now this refrigerator is just 12 volt. This will run off your power converter if you're plugged in, right? Because it converts 110 AC to 12 volt DC. It'll also, when you're pulling it down the road, your batteries will keep it running along with the tow vehicle's alternator charging the batteries. So you can pull down the road with it, and so it's all 12 volt. Your microwave works like any other microwave. Your vent fan, light. I showed you the vent on the outside. Remember, always open the baffle if you're going to vent. Always travel with your top down here. Okay, because they tend to want to break if you don't. You have a, excuse me, your sink, or your, excuse me, your shower works like any other shower, except it has another eco feature. This thing here is called I'm stalling because I can't remember what it is. It's a water miser, that's what it is. Basically, it's a water recirculator. So right now, you would go into this position, and what happens normally if you're heating up water, the water will just pass through the system, the cold water, and go right down the drain, and it would add water to your gray tanks, take up your space, plus it would waste city water. So if you're in a drought area like parts of California or whatever, you can't be wasting water. So this will recirculate it in a loop, right? So when you're heating it up, the water, you turn on the hot and it'll just circle it through a loop, so you're not adding water to your gray tank and you're not using up fresh water. Then once it heats up, this will change the color distinctly, right? When that happens, you'll go to regular mode and use like a regular shower, but it recirculates the water until it heats up. In this packet here, there's a manual on everything in here, and you can also go online, put the part number and the manufacturer in the search engine, and you'll be able to find all kinds of manufacturers' videos also. All right, this is a 4-speed fan. Lid opens this way. You just crank it up. Buttons here to control the speed. Always use it on low when you use the shower to get to pull the moisture out. All right, we're not hooked up to water here, but this is the flush pedal. The main thing to remember is you can't use it dry. So first thing you do when you get hooked up, come inside, you put your chemical right in the bowl, whichever chemical you use. Then you'll flush it, and water will come swirling out. You stand on the pedal till you put about a gallon or so of water in there. You don't know exactly what that is, just use common sense. You want to have water in the black tank, which is directly below, and chemical before you start using it. Otherwise you'll regret it, believe me. You'll only do it once. So remember, when the black tank is empty, you put chemical and water before you use the toilet. Okay, air conditioner, of course. Okay, I think that covers everything. So this one last thing. This is a tire monitor that we'll show you when you pick it up. It's got a remote screen, and you can monitor your tire pressure and temperature. Okay. So thanks for purchasing a trailer here at National RV Detroit. If you have any other questions, you can call us and talk to us, of course. You can go to manufacturers' videos to learn even more about each particular component. And remember what I told you about inspecting the roof seals and the seals on the side of the trailer. Mainly the roof seals. Every 90 days or so, you look around, and sometime you're going to see an area that's starting to separate, for example. When you see that, you get that area taken care of. You don't have to do the entire roof, just the area affected, okay? Thank you very much.